Welcome. You're just seconds away from the Brian Brawdy Show, where listener participation is strongly encouraged. Well, unless, of course, you're easily triggered, then listener discretion is strongly advised. And if you fall into the latter camp, why don't you just mortal up already?
You're listening to the Brian Brawdy Show here on RadioBri.com. Unfettered, unfiltered, unafraid.
Afternoon once again. Welcome to episode 543. Really, get out of here. 543, and we're calling it Looking for Gold here at the Brian Brawdy Show, aka, as I like to call it, simply the very best time in the history of the world to be alive. I just, if you're vertical, it's a good gig. That's all I'm saying. And we are thrilled to have you with us, whether you're here on Facebook, YouTube, if you're listening on RadioBri.com. Thank you so very much. We've got all kinds of cool things planned for today. Just, right, trying to be the lightning rod to the leftist lunacy sweeping our country. That's all we're trying to do. And still to remind you that you weren't built to be browbeaten. You weren't created. You weren't made to have to subjugate yourself to all this mashugana. And that's what we love about the Mortal Up. That's what we love. And we'll be talking about it a little bit later. That's what we love about the Mortal Up Challenge, or the Mortal Up Alliance. The Mortal Up Challenge within the Alliance is just to say, look, it's up to you and I every day to make sure that we don't take any crap from anybody. That's the thumbnail, Wayne. That's the elevator speech. What's the Mortal Up Alliance all about? We're done taking crap from people, right? Life's too short to abdicate our personal power. Most certainly, life's too short to abdicate our personal responsibility. So we're just not going to do it. And that's what we're talking about. Let me say hello quickly to Wayne. Wayne, how are you today? What's going on in the world?
I have no idea.
All right. What's going on right there where you are? Are we ready to open the phone lines, or what do you want to do today first?
We certainly are. We can open up the phone lines.
All right. Let's do that right out of the box. Oh, man, I forgot T.
The phone lines are open. Now's your chance to mortal up and give Brian a shout, because your opinion deserves to be heard. Dial toll-free 1-833-MORTAL-1. That's 833-MORTAL-1.
Mortal One, because if you're listening, you know by now that we think you're the number one mortal. The mortal in the mirror. The number one mortal is you. Don't forget, you can also scratch it out and text us, 833-667-8251, toll free as well. As also, you can send us an email, as you may or may not know, but it comes right in here to the studio south in the land of the the land of the latest lockdown from Governor DeWine. You can send an email right here into our Columbus studios, brian@radiobri.com. We would love to hear from you. So if you get a shot, that would be great. We've got a lot to talk about today. But Wayne, let's do this. Let's go ahead and do the Mortal Up Minute. As you know, we're getting a lot of requests to do the Mortal Up Minute in the beginning and then kind of like bookend the show a little later in the hour. So let's go ahead and rip that off, because we got all kinds of things to get to today, sir.
Time to Mortal Up with Brian Brawdy.
Let's take a moment to talk about environmental studies, or the science of surroundings. Now, certain trees will only grow in a very particular type of soil condition. Saltwater fish have a hell of a time navigating freshwater. Sand crabs hate the snow. Penguins don't do the North Pole. Myriad examples exist in nature where the creature, uniquely tied to an exact set of operating conditions, doesn't survive for very long in altered settings. So it is with humans. We're built, wired to rebel against the chafing confines of authoritarian rule, viscerally offended by all types of oppression. It's in our blood to push back against bullies of every stripe. So you're absolutely right to believe that the perfect natural environment for you and me to survive and thrive is freedom. Reminding you to mortal up, I'm Brian Brawdy. And that's all we're talking about, Wayne, is you know that the perfect environment for the human being to survive is in freedom. It's not subjugated to authoritarian rule. It's not, right? I don't want to use all the cliches. I don't want to, throw some of those things out. But right, the perfect subset of the human mind is to be able to think and speak and move about freely. So that's what we're talking about today. When we talk about the search for gold comes, you got to be free to listen to that still small voice. You got to be free to be able to explore wherever your gut tells you. Now, it's been my experience that the gold, most times it's buried in a cave. And as I say all the time, Irish luck, don't believe the hype. That cave is usually guarded by a dragon, and it's hit or miss there a lot of times when you're going spelunking, right? When you're going down into the cave, but that's where the gold is. But it all begins when you petition your own sense of personal freedom, of personal wherewithal, right? And don't fall for the people that are trying to water it down. I've started to develop this theory over the years that what's left is we haven't grown up to a certain degree, Wayne, at least the people that are subject to this, in that we were born and our parents needed to exercise a certain control over us, right? They needed to take that little bundle of superhuman energy and they needed to kind of keep it in check, or we'd have just been ricocheting off the walls. But what happens is we grow to believe that being held in check is the way it's supposed to be. And all I'm trying to say is there's a huge difference, a hell of a difference between normal and natural. It might be normal that you've been held in check, but it doesn't mean it's natural that you've been held in check. It might be commonplace, right? But that doesn't mean it's the way it's supposed to be. So I think what happens is that maybe some individuals, but most certainly as a collective, there's still some vestiges. What does Yoda say in Star Wars? You must unlearn that which you have learned. I think we learned subjugation, right? I think we learned to listen to our elders, right? We learned that very early on, just so our parents could keep us from running in the street with scissors, right? It keeps us from running in between cars, playing in traffic, whatever you want, but sticking the fork in the power outlets, right? Not wanting us to be electrocuted. But I think what happens is we've carried some of those vestiges over with us. Now, I know this is only going to tick people off, and I get in trouble for saying this, but I think that's why the vampire class, I think that's why big government thrives in little minds, because there's little minds that haven't grown up yet. And they want an overlord. They want a puppeteer. They want a marionette working their strings. Heaven forbid you accept a little bit of personal responsibility and go at your own. Heaven for just forget about going into the cave by yourself looking for the gold. I need Big Brother. I need a rodeo clown. I need a safety net. I need government to watch out for me. Where does it say that government is supposed to watch out for you? And we're going to get to it here in the rest of the show. One of them, it just always gets my goat when someone tries to attack the vestiges, or at least the common sense vestiges of the Second Amendment. And I've said for years that the Second Amendment is a simple endorsement that you're the first line of defense. All the Second Amendment means is you are that 911. You are, right? When you can't, and I used to say this all the time, Wayne, as you know, back in the days when I was traveling the country in the RV, back in the days when I was doing all the survival things, even for National Geographic, when you can't call on anyone else. Can't call on anyone else. Can you call on yourself? So you get to the point, right, where you're in a situation and you really need some help. So what are you going to do? You pick up the phone. Uh-oh, wait a minute. What's going on? I can't call in, right? There's no white horse coming to save me. You are the white horse. You are the one riding to your own defense. So if you get that busy signal and you can't rely on someone else to come and save you, can you save yourself, your family, your property, your friends? And that's what it means about looking for the gold, that for you to be in the position to be able to say, no matter what fate throws at me, I'm going to be able to hang with it. I'm going to make certain that I can rise to whatever challenge, that I'm going to find the opportunity in every obstacle, right? Every roadblock. I'm up for the challenge to take it, dovetail with it till I learn what it takes for me to play it my way. All right, Wayne, I know you need the mic.
The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent.
So we've got that out of the way. Thank goodness. Don't forget, you can give us a call. Oh, you know what, Wayne? Here's another thing, and we'll talk about it a little later. I happened to throw out over on Facebook a little earlier this thing, and we'll get to the report later because I think we have it as a breaking news a story today. But you know what I mean? This whole concept that I did in this post, and I just said, hey, come on over. This is your gauntlet. Here's your chance. Pick a fight, right? If you disagree with what we're saying, we want to hear from you no matter what, right? And if you think we're wrong, please tell us. You can call us. You can text us. But what do we get, Wayne?
Silence.
Nothing. All the brainiacs, everyone with the keyboard courage that wants to pick a fight. Here's your chance to pick a fight. Pick up the damn phone and call or text or email us. If you're so certain that the things that we talk about are wrong, I'm open to hear your opinion, right? So just, oh, yeah, okay, all right, good job, kitten. Oh, good job. Oh, there you go. Why don't you just go get yourself a bowl of warm milk, and we'll call it a match. All right, Wayne, so I think we've gotten that out of our system. What is it we're up to today for our next segment?
Well, we're going into our low life making headlines segment.
Ooh, I like that one.
But because we don't know the names of the people, we're going to take a different approach, and we're going to put up a video.
Grimmy. I like it. So we don't know the names yet of our low lifes making headlines winners for today.
Right. They have not been arrested.
Okay. Have not been arrested yet. Well, let's keep the faith, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully the local police department, whoever that is, they got their finger on the pulse, ready to swoop in, right? Ready to swoop in and grab these people. That would be nice. So let's see who it is. Low lifes making headlines, or as we like to call it around here, brains that make your blood boil. Here's your brittle brain atop a balsa wood spine for today. I'm gonna, instead of PC police, the political correctness, it'll be pompous cowards, right? How is that? So let's find this guy. Let's roust him up. Let's charge him with aggravated assault. He and his ugly girlfriend. Let's charge them with felony aggravated assault. Give them both. Once they're arrested, if they're convicted, mandatory 10-year sentence. You can beat an older woman. You can knock her to the ground, kick her, and then continue. It's like a theme the last 3 or 4 days, Wayne. You can knock another human being to the ground, someone obviously older than you, and punch them and kick them and continue to punch them when they're already. And you could say, well, you know, the old lady should have just shut her mouth and shouldn't have said anything about a mask. Yeah, okay, whatever, needle nits. So the moment the threat is removed, there's no reason. The moment the person's unconscious, there's no reason to kick them or punch them. There's no reason to slam them in the face or slam their head against the ground. They're already not a threat to you. They're already out of the picture. So what the heck is wrong with you? I'll tell you what's wrong with you. You got a depraved indifference to human life, and heaven help the day I become in charge wherever you live, because you will go straight to the box. Once convicted, you'll go away for 10 years. All right, Wayne, I think we have, right. And why would you go away for 10 years? Let me just say this, Wayne. It's 10 years aggravated assault, right? 10 years for the aggravated assault, beating an elderly woman, beating an elderly man, beating anybody that can't defend themselves. But special circumstances, you were stupid enough, you vapid drool bag. You were stupid enough to do it on camera. as I say once again, and this goes out to our good friend Governor Newsom in California, if you're going to break the rules, if you're going to disobey the law, there will be, and this brainiac politician that went to the bar to have a drink to celebrate something, if you're going to break the rules, if you're going to break the law, there's a camera going to be on you. So I say 10 years mandatory sentence, and the reason they're not eligible for parole, they're too stupid to be walking the streets. If you think you can pull off a felony and there isn't going to be a camera, like this guy that killed his pregnant girlfriend and dumped her body on the highway, there was even a camera there to find them. You know what I'm saying, Wayne? So I think you're just too stupid. You're too dumb. You're too vapid to be out walking around on the streets. That's the special circumstance of no parole. You get 10 years for punching a defenseless human being, and you get no time off because you're just too dumb to realize that there's probably a camera covering you. What say you, Wayne? Have I summarized that whole thing just about right? What was that? Low life's making headlines, right?
Yes, it was. And I pretty much think you did.
I'm pretty sure I did. Okay, so let's do this, Wayne, real quick, because I see we have 4 minutes left to go. So let's get to this so that I can get it out of my system, because it has to do with the masks.
Check this out.
All right, time for another breaking news report. Kind of breaking like a half hour ago. But the breaking news report we want to talk about today, don't forget, we want to hear from you. 833-MORTAL-1, 833-667-8251. You know, you feel it. You know, you're itching for the verbal punch. Call me. Pick a fight. I'm all over it. So here's the thing that I wanted to mention briefly, Wayne, because this lady apparently was doing, she felt that masks were going to save her. And this is why I think the whole mask thing is such a disservice, right? Such a disservice to people, because I think they're injurious to your health. And it was most certainly injurious to this poor lady's health when she said, hey, where's your mask? Because she thought there was some protection afforded her because of the mask. And she gets a beat down by this Lex Luthor super coward. Talk about a super spreader. It's guys like this spreading cowardice all over the place that you just want to grab and smack. And by smack, I mean, yes, grab and just pummel, right? Since he has probably no problem at all beating around older people that can't defend themselves. All right, so Wayne, here's the breaking news story, and we'll get to it a little bit later, as I said, but the whole thing about from the Spectator, a news article today saying that they did this huge landmark Danish study. And if I read the article correctly, what it talks about is that this is like a super scientific, I think is what they called it, like a double-blind study. And they had all kinds of people. It's called the Dan Mask, Dan, D-A-N, I'm not cussing, I didn't say damn, Dan Mask 19 trial was conducted with over 3,000 participants. Top of the line, top of the line scientific study, right? Where they did everything they needed to do to make sure it was run spot on. And guess what they found out, Wayne?
Masks don't do anything for you.
Oh, where'd you first hear that? Back in March, right here on this show. That's right. Masks don't do a thing. Just like you pointed out yesterday, Wayne, with that whole story about the Marine platoon or the Marine boot camp. Mm-hmm. Says, as a result, it seems that any effect masks have on preventing the spread of disease in a community is very small. Some people did not wear their mask properly. Okay, we get that. But when it comes, 2% of this group were still infected. So when it comes to masks, it appears that there is still little good evidence that they prevent the spread of airborne diseases, right? So it's troubling when you think about it, because the government's telling everyone, wear a mask, wear a mask, wear a mask. So then you're in an elevator, two young upstart mixed martial artists get on without a mask. Wayne, is 9 other trials looking at the efficacy of masks have found that masks make little or no difference. Little or no difference. Are you kidding me? All right, Wayne, I know you need the mic back. It's yours.
Portions of this broadcast have been pre-recorded.
Why? Because you can't get these people to hit a call time. They're the worst. Nah, I'm just kidding. We love our guests. Hello hello to Jeanette. Jeanette, nice to see you. Sheila, thank you very much. Nice to see you as well as Jane and Leanne. Nice to have you around. Joseph, thank you so very much for your thoughts. Don't forget, you can email us, brian@radiobri.com. Let's go. You know you want to pick a fight, and look, you're welcome to call in with your bullhorn if you like. Call in with your bullhorn, tough guy. Let us know just how badass you really are. Please give us a call. Also, you can send us a text, 833-667-8251. Wayne, what do we got queued up next? Return to vendor, because some DNA just needs to go back. But that's right? You get a face punch and you get the slamming door. So you get smacked and you get thrown out the door, right? There you go. All right, so here's the thing. Return to vendor. Ooh, Mr. Lobato, and I guess that's his other brother, Lobato, right? I guess they're brothers, the Lobato twins. Deputies arrest teenage. Oh, there. See, all I got to do is read the graphic. Deputies arrest teenage brothers wanted in connection to a body found in Orange Grove. I don't know. I don't know. Is that Orange Grove? Is that a place? Is that a place, or is it like Orange Grove? Like it should be capitalized and it's in like Orange Grove, California. I'm not sure what that means. But in any event, both are facing charges of first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, accessory after the fact, giving a false report to law enforcement. Oh, please, just go with the murder first. Burglary of an unoccupied vehicle, tampering with physical evidence, grand theft motor vehicle, and tampering with physical evidence. So, Wayne, give me a little bit on this. You got this story up. I see now that they've been charged with conspiracy. The two of them work together, right, to commit first-degree murder.
Yes.
What are some of the particulars around it?
I didn't get to read the whole story.
Okay,
but
I'll go.
I do know they had kidnapped and murdered a young girl.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
All right, so let me just see. I want to make sure that I get this quickly because I don't want to be given, right? We want to make sure that we're not buying in. We're not buying into the fake news, right, in all of this.
Oh, they've been arrested.
So they've been arrested. Okay, and what were they saying? That they kidnapped. Now, this isn't the same group we were talking about yesterday when we said, they kidnapped. Is this the same? Nah, it can't be.
No, this is different.
Okay, so different one. This isn't Psycho or any of the rest of it. But they murdered someone, and that's all I'm saying. Oh, well, let's make sure. Let's wait and see. No, I can't find it now. Let me see. I'm just going to punch in while we're talking about it, Wayne. I'm going to punch in their names, see if I can pull up the story that way. L-O, Lo, see you later, Bato. Lo, B-A-T-O. Let me see what's going on, if we can get it here. So here's the deal. They go ahead and they murder someone, right? They murder someone, and all I'm suggesting is the reason that we are in the position that we're in is because as a group of people, we have a depraved indifference to human life, right? So that we go, it's only murder, Bri. Here we go. Pure evil in the flesh. Sheriff says Florida teens bragged about killing a man. Investigators of two Florida teens plotted the murder of a man in Central Florida. That's where the conspiracy comes in, right? Because from your law enforcement days, when two or more people get together and conspire and they go, I think we should commit a crime. The very next thing they do to prepare for that crime makes it a conspiracy. So what do? Investigators of two Florida teens plotted the murder of a man in Central Florida and used the promise of sex to lure him to his death. They were pure evil in the flesh, said Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd, as he described the suspects, an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old. Let's just make sure they don't turn 20 and 21 respectfully. Let's get them in. Let's try them. If they're guilty and if they're convicted and they're found guilty, time to return to vendor because some DNA just needs to go back. On November 6th, deputies in Flagler County pulled over the two brothers at the wheel of apparently the victim's car. At the time, he was only reported missing. And this tough guy, one of the Lobato brothers, ran off from the traffic stop, and investigators said at the time they didn't have any evidence of the crime to hold Angel, Angel. A little bit of truth in advertising, Wayne. Didn't have any ability to hold Angel, so they let him go. Once investigators found Fraser's body, they put out an alert for the brothers as suspects in the murder. Deputies arrested the two in Lake Wales on Saturday, and where they said they had borrowed the car. Later, the sheriff's office said the brothers confessed about killing Fraser and bragging about the murder on social media. Time to return to vendor. That's it. Bang the gavel. Next case. Move along. And here's why, Wayne. And I had a conversation with my spiritual advisor this morning. And I know you're thinking, Brian, really? You have a spiritual advisor? I do. And when I get a chance to talk to her, I just said, look, where am I going wrong on this? All I'm saying is that violence continues to escalate. And as I've said countless times this week over on social media, I couldn't care less if you're white, if you're black, if you're brown. I don't care about the color of your skin. I don't care where you went to school. I don't care about the color of the mascot of your favorite politician. I couldn't care less. But you injure another human being. You kick another human being while they're down. You murder another human being. We've grown way too tolerant of the snuffing out of human life in this country. And you could say, well, Brian, how can you believe in the death penalty? They confessed to luring this poor guy. Then they got the gall to steal his car, be riding around in it. Right? This DNA needs to go back. We can't run the risk of them we just can't run the risk. And sooner or later, Wayne, somebody has to out brutal the brutal. Somebody has to stand up to evil. Stop making excuses for it. Oh, they had a very troubled childhood. So did I. You don't see me running around asking for sex and then, or promising sex, and then when the person shows up, I kill them. You want to compare brain pans? Why don't you bring a list of all the things you were subject to as a child? I'll bring my list. We'll see who wins. Return to vendor. Bang the gavel. As I said, next case. You kill another human being, it's time to go. And if you don't like it, it's, oh, that's terribly eye for an eye. Tough luck. All right, Wayne, is there anything else I neglected to cover there?
Nope, you got it.
Nope, you got it. Okay, so before we get ready to run to the bottom of the hour, all I'm going to suggest to you is that sometimes compassion has to have teeth, right? How many times, Wayne, do we hear stories? How many times where a felon escapes and commits another murder because we didn't subject him to capital punishment or her to capital punishment in the first place? You kill another human being, you forfeit your right to live. End of story. End of debate. End of discussion. Bang the gavel. Next case.
Well, part of the problem, and you've got the same situation in places like California and New York, where they let these felons out of prison just to go ahead and they commit another crime, another murder.
Well, and who was it? Jonah Goldberg. I finished one of his books not too long ago. I think it was The Death of Cliches, where he said, by the time you get caught, and you're really caught, right, where the cops are smart enough to catch you, you've committed a dozen crimes already. So this whole thing that you'll hear the left scream and say, well, it's better for 10 guilty people to go free than one innocent person be punished. I don't agree with that sentiment at all. Because you let 10 guilty people go free, they've committed a dozen other crimes before you finally catch them. They've victimized 120 people. 120 people. Let's just say that the math, right? And you work it out that way. I say return to vendor. You take another human life. It's time for your DNA to go back. I'm pretty sure I've made my point there. All right, Wayne, thank you for posting. Don't forget the phone lines are open. You can also call us or text us, 833-667-8251. It's toll free. And as always, you are welcome to email us right here in the studio. It's brian@radiobry.com. All right, Wayne, let's run to the bottom of the hour. We got a lot to talk about in the next hour. Let's get that done, and we will be right back.
You're listening to The Brian Brawdy Show. Why? Because you know the truth when you hear it. He'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Brian Brawdy Show, brought to you by our good friends at Counterpunch Media and Certifiable Brilliance. It's time to buckle up. All right, as promised, I had to sneak out there in a little, not that I promised I would sneak out in the break, but I had to bring my trusty bullhorn, right? For all these people going, oh, I'll just scream at them at a bullhorn. That's how I'll victimize them. That's how I'll throw somebody else under the bus. I'll bring a bullhorn. So here's my standing invitation. Bring your bullhorn. Let's just compare bullhorns, I guess is all I'm saying. All right, Wayne, so there you go. There's the bullhorn. Said I would bring it, and I did. All right, phone lines are still open. Don't forget, 833-MORTAL, the numeral 1. You can text us there as well, or drop us a quick email, or a long email for that matter, brian@radiobri.com. And still, I think, Wayne, I don't see a lot about, I don't know if you can check the Facebook feed for us, Wayne, but of all the people that were so sure that masks were so perfect, everyone was so certain that masks were the way to go, still I don't have anyone picking up the challenge. All the people with keyboard courage that are telling everybody, how important masks are. What's going on? Especially when you have a scientific study like this. Oh, Wayne, I knew something else. I wanted to very quickly give a shout out to my friend Kaylee O'Kelly, who is, she was just noted yesterday. Let me see where this is. She was just picked yesterday as one of the most influential people in her neck of the woods, one of the most inspirational people in television. Kaylee O'Kelly, just a beautiful, beautiful person, beautiful human being. And let me see, she is, the 40 influential women of 2020, according to the LA Wire. So congratulations, dream big. What was the caption? Dream big, entrepreneur, creative. And Kaylee, she's just a class human being. And I'm glad to see, I'm sure she has other recognitions. I said to her in LinkedIn, I go, you've been on top of my list for more than 15 years. So congratulations again. All right, Wayne, I know we got all kinds of things to get to, so I don't want to stand in the way. Let's get going. Oh, please. Enough. Why not give it a rest already? No one around here is drinking your Kool-Aid. Maybe that goes a little too long. I don't know. I haven't quite decided. It might be. Maybe it would. Or I should end it with some chipmunk laughter. All right. So all right, here we go. Oh, please. Biden Deputy Chief of Staff. Oh, please. Jennifer O'Malley Dillon. Oh, wow. What a catch. Biden Deputy Chief of Staff touted, quote, mandatory buybacks of assault weapons. Be surprised if she even knew how to load an assault weapon. During a September 2019 primary debate, hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15s, your AK-47s. Now, Wayne, was that Biden that said that? Because it's in quotes. So during a September 2019 primary debate, why was this brainiac debating anybody?
Well, she used to be in Congress.
I'm sorry?
She used to be in Congress.
Well, how did she get a microphone during the debate? I thought they listened to their candidates. Oh, I'm sorry. A September 29 debate for her. She was busy debating.
Yes.
Someone that she was running for office for.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, I got you. So now during this brainiac says, oh, hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15s, your AK-47s. I don't want to go all Charlton Heston on you, sis, but not from my cold, dead hands. Because here's the reason, Wayne. I couldn't care less about weapons, right? Couldn't care less. Have them, don't have them, use handguns, use assault weapons. I love that. Oh, well, they're semi-automatic. They couldn't even tell you what it would take to make a weapon automatic, right? Oh, but they look very scary. They look very scary, Brian. I don't know.
They don't even know what an assault weapon is by definition.
Oh, please.
An AR-15 and an AK-47 semi-automatic is not an assault rifle.
I'm surprised she didn't go alphabetically and mention a bazooka and a cannon, right? She just could have gone on down the line. AR-15s, bazookas, cannons. You know what I'm talking about. So here's the thing, and I alluded to it earlier. I couldn't care less. You want to carry guns? Great. You don't want to carry guns? Great. Let me just say to this. To me, individually, personally, I know it's a little bit of the warrior poet in me, right? Just a little bit to me personally. All the Second Amendment does is endorse the fact that you're the first line of defense for yourself, your family. Now, who would call for a mandatory buyback? Who would call for any attempt on the Second Amendment when you got people beating older people in the street? I saw a guy today, and let me just say, for all the little people busy going, oh, well, I can't believe, could you find someone else to pick on? Look, I'm an equal opportunity, right? It doesn't matter to me the color of your skin. I couldn't care less what you're wrapped in. I really couldn't. And I saw a picture of the day of this white guy in a hood. Oh, they're tough guys with masks and hoods, Wayne. Real tough guys. Grabbing a flag from like a 75-year-old lady. Poor thing was a third his size. Aren't you just a tough guy? You coward. Wayne, I think we're going to need that more, that, what is it, CP? No, PC police.
Yep.
Puny cowards. Or what did I say? Puny cowards? No. Yeah, whatever it is. Maybe the PC police is we're looking for puny cowards.
Working on
pompous. What was the other one?
Working on it.
Oh, thank you very much. For puny cowards. Or politicians that cry all the time. I don't know, like Gavin Newsom. Oh, no, everyone else gets to be locked down. Everyone else has to follow these useless mask rules. Now that yet another scientific study like we conducted when we had the guy smoking the cigarettes, Wayne, remember that way back when? Another really scientific study to go, look, masks don't work. Get over yourself, right? So now they go, well, we got to need masks because how else can we hide our face from the cameras? So let's hope they catch these people that beat this older woman in the elevator at Brooklyn. And do we know, have they caught the female soccer player, journalist wannabe from Howard that kicked that guy that was unconscious on the ground the other day? I think her name was, what was it? I forget what her name was, but have they caught her yet, Wayne? Do you know?
Well, while you're going on, I'll look it up.
Okay. Well, from your lips to God's ears. Thank you so much, Wayne. I appreciate it. So Wayne says I get to go on. Here's the thing. In my estimation, now I know I'm all going all ex-cop, ex-military, marshal. I get all that, right? I get all that. All I'm simply suggesting is that brutality and evil runs amok because we permit it. We let it run amok. We come up with all kinds of, we feel, nobody gives a crap about feelings, how you feel. Well, we felt it was right. Oh, here's another thing, Wayne, while you're looking this up, just for everyone that wants to know. I've gotten so sick of people on Facebook, right? Not like Governor Cuomo sick, where he says, if you have COVID, it's your own fault. If you're fat, it's because you keep eating cheesecake, right? Oh, a real public servant. And this is the guy, with all the trouble his state is in, just gave himself a $25,000 raise. Oh, isn't he special? With his dumbbell curling brother. Neither one of them apparently wear masks in public, so I'm told, right? But now he's throwing fat people under the bus, telling them not to eat cheesecake. You got to admit, Wayne, New York cheesecake, I don't know how you say no to that. I love it, especially if it has like strawberries or cherries on top. But here's this brainiac, talk about pompous cowards. Here's this brainiac blaming everybody else. I told you, wear a mask, social distance, don't lick doorknobs, that you got COVID, it's your fault. No, dingle dork. How about it's your fault because you sent everyone to the nursing home and killed them? Right? Put that in your book. All your personal responsibility. Now you're fat shaming other people? Good look. Really good look. You and your sister. What's her sister's name? Christina Cuomo over on the Circus News Network. Very good. Very good. And then he picked a fight with reporters yesterday, as somebody told me. He was busy saying, I don't care what you think. Right? Maybe he and little Jimmy Accosted can get into the octagon and do a smackdown. All right, Wayne, you got any breaking news for me? Did we catch this future journalistic soccer star?
No, they did not.
How did they not catch this woman? Where's this, D.C.?
Yep. I'm kind of curious if they're even really looking for her.
I got friends on the D.C. Police Department. Are you kidding me? Charge her with assault first. Send her to the Hooskow for 10 years if she's convicted. All right, Wayne, so that's what we're doing. All I'm simply suggesting is now may not be the... You want to talk about being out of touch. Forget about Governor Cuomo. Forget about Newsom saying, oh, you can't go anywhere without a mask, no close confines. But he's like in a little cubicle, right? A little grotto in a French Laundry restaurant in California, no mask, sitting elbow to elbow, yucking it up with people that should know better, right? Heads of the medical community in California, I'm told. So we're not talking about people like this. I'm simply suggesting that we ignore their attempts at usurping our power. Don't let them take from you your ability to defend yourself, right? Because if they succeed in defunding the police, guess who it is that's going to be called to defend you, to defend your family, to defend your property, to defend your friends and your neighbors? It's going to be on you. That's why I said as we started this segment, the Second Amendment just proves that you're the first line of defense when it comes to personal protection. I love it. You don't get to call 911, ask for someone else to risk their lives getting there and adopt the karma that you're too much of a coward to handle yourself. I'm all over it. Absolutely all over it. As you know, my position on defund the police. You vote to defund the police, we just give you a steady business signal. We stop coming whenever you call. That's my thought. All right, Wayne. So again, the please. We're not giving up our weapons because we don't care about the weapons. What we do care, what we call them, Ms. Dillon, we call them retractable claws. Leave us alone. We're like a little kitten, right? We're able to play in this and that and everything else. Claws only come out when we need them, when we need to defend ourselves, because people like you are doing a crap job of defending, as we've proven with these elderly people being beaten in the street, beaten in their elevators, beaten and killed. Right? You've done a crap job of defending us, so it's on people. And some people gladly accept the responsibility to defend themselves. Wayne, would you say that's about what we're thinking?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right. I'm very excited about this next piece. Oh, I know you need the microphone back quickly. So
let's just go into the next piece.
Oh, let's go into the next piece then. I love it. Welcome to the Mortal Up Alliance. We haven't forgotten what freedom feels like. Because from our very beginning, humanity rebelled against the chafing confines of tyrannical rule, viscerally offended by all types of oppression. It's in our blood to push back against bullies of every stripe. As is our very nature, we rally our sinew, bringing the counterpunch, deciding on liberty's line in the sand, drawing it with our personal strength, dynamic grit, and sacred honor. Sadly, now more than ever, near overwhelming forces are aligned to subvert your sovereignty, browbeating your birthrights at an alarming rate and with an absolute disrespect, even contempt, for your self-determination and personal franchise. The bureaucratic behemoth and the legislative leviathan of big government. The despicable and secretive tactics of big tech. The lowdown and truly contemptible underhandedness of big business. The incarceration brought about by corporate special interests are the real collusions requiring our immediate focus, our laser-like clarity, and our dogged determination to overcome their coercion and cruelty once and for all. We can no longer apathetically trust these institutions. Full-scale tyranny is the byproduct of turning a blind eye and a deaf ear to totalitarian schemes of intimidation and captivity, not just for our future, but of the days ahead for our children and grandchildren, our nieces and nephews, our friends and extended family members as well. Now, in fairness, we share a bit of responsibility for our intellectual and physical incarceration. For too long, we've trusted the powers that be to have our backs, to represent our best interests, to be our public servants. Carrying the childhood cliche of for your own good into adulthood, where the power-hungry are all too happy and ready to hijack its original intent. They're taking our good-natured civility and turning it into a call for civil war. The time for our adolescent amnesia is over. At the Mortal Up Alliance, we're honored to fight the battle for human freedom every day. Our mission and obligation are to defend authentic human potency, battling any attempts to water down individual wherewithal. And we're proud to stand in the way of anyone or anything standing in the way of you. Look, you have a compelling vision for your future. It deserves a commanding voice, one ready to rise in defense of all you hold dear. The Mortal Up Alliance is that bodyguard, that backstop to the despotic abuse of power and authority threatening our very way of life. Remembering who we truly are, no uphill is insurmountable. Recalling and dispatching our natural resources, no foe is too formidable. When we mortal up individually and collectively, no attempts to malign and marginalize us can ultimately succeed. Thank you for your interest in the Mortal Up Alliance, because we haven't forgotten what freedom feels. And that's one of the things we're talking about. We haven't forgotten what freedom feels like, nor should you. When we're subject to politicians saying, it's good for thee, but not for me. You have to wear masks. You have to curb your travel. You have to do this. You have to do, oh, but don't expect us to do it. We're above the law, right? Here's the thing. Oh, that's right. I forgot to tell everyone. We should have just led with this, Wayne. It's not due process of law. It's dual process, where there's two tracks. One for the people that write the laws. They write them from on top of them, like peeing in the snow, apparently. And then there's a set of rules, a dual set of rules for all the rest of us deplorables, us little people, us flyover state inhabitants, right? We have one set of rules for us, but oh no, the vampire class, they have their own set of rules. The people that want to play us like a puppet, they have their own set of rules. They don't have to follow them, but hell, we better. So the Mortal Up Alliance, and we're working on it, and it'll be up and going here. We're going to work some on it over the weekend, and then in the next week. Let me just say this. If you want a membership, we have the private, and it will be private, the Mortal Up Alliance Facebook page. If you want to be, if you want an invite, please either text me or just drop me a line here, Brian at Radio Bry. Brian spelled with an I. Brian at radiobry.com. You know what just made me think of that, Wayne? Maybe we should do a graphic, where we have the Facebook at Brian Brawdy Official and Twitter at Brian Brawdy. Maybe we could do a little email thing over there and just go, right? So it pops right up on the screen as well. A little envelope, and then just go Brian at radiobry.com. That would be great. But go ahead, give me an idea that you'd like an invite, and we'll go ahead and see what we can do to get you hooked up. But in the interim, all we're talking about is that if you were born, if you were dropped here, if you made it here, there are certain things that you are destined to have. And it's not somebody telling you constantly what to do. I mean, it kills me. I saw, we should have done another Low Life's Making Headlines, but I think it was in Akron, Ohio, a group, which just proves to me once again, Wayne, that big government lives in little minds. But now in other parts of the country, there are town boards, there are counties, little hamlets with 2 or 3 people that have decided how many people you can have at Thanksgiving, if they have to wear a mask. I'd like anybody listening that thinks, because maybe it is. But back up, if you can, back up the story that we ran with earlier. The scientific study that said, masks just don't work. They don't confer the expected protection. Anybody at all. Give us a call, give us a text, give us an email. I got to be the easiest guy in the world to get a hold of. Got to be the easiest guy in the world to find, I would think. Let me know. How am I wrong? All right. Thank you so very much. We're just getting an email, Wayne. Masks and defunding the police. I don't want to give out the person's name unless the person says, hey, you can use my name. So let me just read the email. Masks do not work because it's not about masks. Pushing masks is just another way of attempting to control. Just like they preached no gatherings. Families were not allowed to hold funerals for their loved ones right in the midst of this so-called pandemic. But George Floyd had a massive funeral. No issues with that. I'm absolutely with the writer of this. There shouldn't have been an issue with any of it. And if I'm wrong, then why, during apparently his self-imposed remanding to his own basement, why was Christina Cuomo from CNN seen out and about a couple different times without a mask. Email goes on to say, defunding the police, in my opinion, goes right in line with destroying our Second Amendment. The left wants full control. I could not agree more with the email. So thank you so very, very much for giving us your opinion. We super appreciate it. And listen, to the person who sent this email, we'd love to have you on the show, right? We'd love to have you call in, text it. We'd love to have you be like an actual guest where you come in and we do a spot and tell us, how did you develop? Look, how did you and I come to be of the same opinion? And all I'm suggesting is that if masks work with the story that we did yesterday, Wayne, what was it, like boot camp for Marines?
Yes, it was.
And listen, the drill sergeants override every stinking thing you do. As you reminded us yesterday, that quarter better bounce a certain height in the air, or that bed wasn't made right. And we just thought we'd help you by throwing your bed out the window. Oh, that never happens. Bullshit. Baloney. You've never been. Right? How you like that catch?
You didn't catch it.
That never happens. I didn't catch it? Oh, damn. Really? I didn't? Oh. That's not. See, this is just unfair. Right? Because it's easier. Do you know how in 5,000 live television, all these live television appearances, I've never cussed once? Not once, Wayne. Not once. Because it's always been, oh, yeah, okay. But now it's to the point where it's just so enraging. And I think the person that wrote the email was right. Masks do not work because it's not about the masks. So to paraphrase, if I could, then I guess, brother or sister, you don't know, could be a guy or a girl that sent the email, you don't know. I guess in that regard, masks do work. Because if the position is masks are just another way to see what we'll put up with, how much they can, now they're saying you can only have so many people, you can't sit two people on the same love seat, and everyone in the house until they lift up their spork to get an extra serving of stuffing and mashed potatoes has to wear a mask. So maybe masks did work. Maybe all the people running around like this poor lady in the elevator that asked the younger couple, the would-be felons, that I hope they find and incarcerate. Asking the would-be felons. I think a part of the responsibility on that lady getting the smackdown are the people that convinced her that masks are going to save her. But in your story yesterday, Wayne, it didn't help stop the spread at all. Was it Quantico? No, Paris Island.
No, it was actually at a college campus that they put the recruits on for this test.
Oh, really? I thought it was in Paris Island.
No.
They put the recruits on. Oh, okay, great then. So I don't give a good god darn where they were. All I'm simply suggesting is these drill sergeants run every aspect of your life. And with all the hand sanitizer and the 6 feet and the no licking of doorknobs, try to wash your hands when you go to the bathroom and the mask. With all of those things going on, they still got it. So maybe, my friend, masks are doing what exactly. They work great when it comes to communicating that we'll do whatever our overlords tell us. We'll do whatever the vampire class tells us. And we'll be a snitch. And we'll rat out everybody else that doesn't follow, I hate the word obey, that doesn't follow the rules.
Hey, I got a question for you.
Yes, go right ahead.
Have you noticed? You know, we're in the normal flu season right now.
All right, are we? Good.
And
I don't go out, so I don't know.
Previous years, they've always sat down and said, "Hey, X number of people have gotten the flu. X number of people are dying from the flu." Have you heard anything about the normal flu?
No, I haven't. I get.
I'm just curious if they're just categorizing everything as corona.
Well, then that would be the way it's gone since March. I remember telling you of 2 or 3 people that died because of shotgun blasts, and it was classified as COVID. A dear friend, and I probably haven't said this to him before, so I won't do it here, but a true mentor of mine, someone that, even though I don't speak to quite a bit, was instrumental in helping me frame what little mind I had right before they found the tumor. But my friend Sean says, Brian, at least we know water filters work. Sean, I can't tell you the number of times I've wanted to call you, brother, and go, okay, Sean, tell me where I'm wrong here, right? Because I absolutely am able to drink water out in the middle of nowhere. Sometimes even like if you go to a hotel and they go, oh, please don't drink that water. I take the products, I take the water filters that Sean's mentioning. I never, remember the old American Express card commercial, never leave home without it? I never, and I mean never, ever, ever leave to go into the wilderness, either on asphalt, in the asphalt jungle, right, to coin the term, the asphalt jungle, or out in the middle of nowhere, out in the wilderness. I never leave without one of these Catadine water filters. But what I would love to know is there a mask that can afford me the same protection? Now, I've had Giardia, and you do not want that. Cryptosporidium, all of them. Sean is absolutely brilliant when it comes to thinking, comes to plotting, to planning how to keep these little bad guys from swimming down your throat when you're out drinking water in the wilderness. And I'd love to know, Sean, if I'm wrong about the masks. Look, let me just say this, Wayne. Sean is the guy that can tell me where I'm wrong about the masks. And until I hear from Sean, right, I'm not gonna believe it. When you have people on camera smoking a cigarette, not that I've never had a cigarette, so I'm assuming that when you exhale smoke, it comes out at a pretty, it comes out at a pretty decent pace. Maybe not like a sneeze, but you have these masks on, and cigarette smoke is just billowing out through the masks. I would say that those masks probably don't work. Now, for people that argue that the particulate of the Wuhan wheeze, right, the particulate that we're all subject to because some guy in a wet market ate a head off a bat, what a boatload of baloney. We're all subject to that. Maybe the particulate is such that it's smaller than the particulate in cigarette smoke. I don't know, but I would love to. Sean, if you'd let me know. 95 masks work, Sean says, 95 masks work to remove microorganisms, but cloth masks don't. And he says, totally agreed. Sean, I know you're super busy, and I don't think people realize what a bigwig Sean is, right? So the last thing he needs to be doing is answering my questions. But since you're here, brother, if I could ask you one other one. I was told, in my understanding, I've worn 95 masks for as long as I can remember because of woodworking. And I'm told that the reason that I wear the 95 masks, N95 mask, Sean, is that it keeps all the particulate, right? Because I use really fine saw blades. So it keeps that particulate from coming in. But is it true, Sean, that 95 masks allow air out? So when everyone says, well, you're not wearing the N95 mask for yourself, you're wearing it for me, I'm told that isn't necessarily true because N95 masks allow your breath out. It just does a yeoman's job of making sure your inhale is properly filtered. And Sean, if you're still with us, I would love to know if that's the case. Thank you so very much, brother. I appreciate your comments. Not to take away from the email. All I'm simply suggesting is that just hear me out on this. What if we're being given a false sense of hope? Right, Wayne? What if am I to believe that 65 people at the World Health Organization in Switzerland, in Geneva, did they just not listen to their own advice? Or did all 65 develop into a cluster of COVID-19 because the mask didn't work? I'd like to know. Now, in fairness, everyone says we always throw who under the bus. I made one joke about if I'm going to take advice about COVID-19, I'll get it from Roger Daltrey and the band Who. One joke, Wayne, and I'm painted for the rest of my life with it. Although I thought it was a pretty funny joke. Sean says there's a cool video that shows that most that comes from breath from cloth masks and how the same mist does not come out from an N95 mask in a cold weather environment. Okay, very good. So the mist he's talking about. All right, so we'll look for that, Sean. And you know, Sean, as you know from my experience at terribly frigid temperatures, I've always worn a mask to catch the warm air leaving, heat itself up so that when I draw in outside cold air, it comes in superheated. So just in terms of the cold weather environment. But I will do some research from that as well. But Sean, thank you very much for your input. And Sean, again, if there's anything else that you ever hear me go, oh, Bri, you're a little off on that, please tell me. I value your opinion tremendously. And as I've said from the very first time, and I don't want to say how you and I met because you'll just go, oh, Bri, people don't need to hear about that. but Sean was instrumental in taking care of people in a really tough time. And I mean, a really tough time in our nation's history. And I met Sean because his company was busy making sure that in the aftermath of a natural disaster, unlike Wayne, everything I've ever seen, his company was there to make sure that people had fresh water to drink. That his company put themselves, and they're right, just regular people that they didn't know, did everything he could. And his company continues to do that all over the world. But in any event, that's why I met how I met Sean. And I'm very glad that I did. And I'm very glad to have him as a mentor. All right, we got to get out of here. Thank you all so very much for listening to us on YouTube, here on Facebook. Sean, thank you. For the people sending the emails and the text, thank you very much. For everyone listening at radiobride.com, we super appreciate it. More details tomorrow about the Mortal Up Alliance. And as always, I need to thank Wayne for everything that he does, all the graphics, putting up with me. I mean, this pre-show meeting started at 6 a.m. You wouldn't believe that. You go, Bri, your show doesn't look like it. You took 10 minutes to produce it. But Wayne, he's with me bright and early in the morning. So Wayne, thank you so very much for that. Is there anything else you want to cover before we get out of here?
Yeah, I think you've pretty much covered more than we planned.
Oh, I'm full of it. All right. All right. We are out of here. Sean, right back at you. One of the best men out there. You're talking to the mirror, brother. You are a true American and a man who gives your all to us. Sean, thank you very much. Love you, brother. All right, we are out of here. We'll look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow. As I know my friend Bill, the announcer, is going to say, until next time, get out there and mortal up. You deserve to be the very best version of yourself. We deserve to be subject to you being the very best version of yourself. That's all I'm saying. We're out.
Thanks for listening to The Brian Brawdy Show. Until next time, get out there and mortal up.